everybody? Welcome back to Squad Pod Sports, where we bring you our thoughts on the latest games and news around the sports world. This is a big episode 23. Michael Jordan, had to wear the jersey today.
I don't got a Michael Jordan jersey. I would have. I definitely would have.
Next episode is 24, so we're probably gonna be wearing our Kobe ones next episode.
You already know. This I had to represent the Buckeyes based off that last victory.
Absolutely. If I had a jersey, I would wear it too. But yeah, this is a big episode. We are brought to you by Journey with the Jays Network. And definitely like and subscribe. We've been slacking to mention at the beginning. Like and subscribe if you're watching this right now. A lot has happened in this past week, man.
It's been a big week in sports.
Within everywhere. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. We're going to cover the Week 17 breakdown, the wild card weekend predictions that's happening this week. It's playoffs, baby.
Playoffs.
And a lot of crazy stuff's kind of happening within the NFL. The Browns are COVID's hit them pretty hard right now. Yeah. And then we'll talk about the Black Monday with a lot of GM openings, a lot of coach openings, possible QBs on the move. We'll talk about that a little bit. Some NBA news.
It's going to be crazy, man.
It is, man. I'm ready for it. And then the national championship coming up. So
could possibly be postponed, could not, maybe. We'll see.
Exactly. I do have that here. I mean, we can talk about that here a little bit first. Yeah, man. It's Ohio State, they came out, they did their thing against Clemson. I wasn't expecting that. I know you weren't, that's for sure.
Even as a Buckeyes fan, I was not. I thought they were going to do what they normally do and destroy Ohio State. That's just what Clemson does. Not this time. Not this time. I'm so glad Justin Fields came out balling the way he did.
And then it looked like he was hurt. Yeah, and then he came back.
Still proceeded to finish the game with 6 touchdowns. I think there was a stat saying he had more touchdowns than incompletions. I forget. I didn't see his stat line, but I was like, I just pray he's healthy for Alabama, because we're going to need that performance again, if not more, to beat Alabama.
Yeah. Absolutely. The other side of the story, Alabama, we all know that they stomped Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And
pretty handily.
But
that was very expected.
Yeah, that was very expected. And apparently some COVID issues are happening with Ohio State right now. They haven't released the full details.
But the game very hush-hush about it.
It is, yeah. It's weird. But apparently it could be moved to Monday, January 18th, if it's postponed.
Right. So we'll see. Right now it's the 11th is when the game is supposed to be played. So we'll see when it actually is played and who's available for it, more or less. Imagine if Justin Fields is one of the players with COVID and he can't play.
Oh, man.
That'd be terrible.
That's going to be really terrible. But yeah, man, I'm super excited. I'm definitely going to go into it kind of how I went into the game against Clemson. I'm
going to go into it cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Honestly, Clemson, I went into it even like I said, as a Buckeye fan, I was just like, this will be cool to watch. I'm glad we made it, but Clemson's probably going to end up destroying us. And even at the beginning of the game, it was 14-14. They were just hanging with Clemson on every touchdown, and I'm like, okay. And then Clemson started going 4 and out, or 3 and out, 3 and out, and we would score. And they would go 3 and out. We would score. We would go 3. We're up three touchdowns. I'm like, what is going on?
Exactly.
We might actually win this game. It was great. It was such an enjoyable, as a Buckeye fan, it was such an enjoyable game to watch, man.
Yeah, I loved watching it. But I guess we'll just kind of hop right into what a lot of people are excited for is the NFL. We'll kind of go over the Week 17 here. The first game was a blowout, but we didn't expect it to be a blowout, man. Yeah. The Bills are riding hot right now.
It seemed like a statement.
Yeah. Exactly. And the Dolphins, they were a team that were pretty good, I thought, before.
Right. And now look at them. Getting blown out by Buffalo. 50 burger.
Yeah. They're the Bills are just out there having fun right now, playing amazing football.
Josh Allen for MVP. Just saying.
I don't know, man. Aaron
AFC
Rodgers.
East. He's got my vote. AFC East. I'm sticking with that.
He certainly did ball. He had 220 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was 18 to 25 too, so he definitely balled out.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, Tua though, he had 360 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions.
3 picks. Tua is regressing rapidly, and I don't know if
Yeah,
it's just because he keeps getting pulled and put back in and pulled him. I don't know what
yeah,
Brian Flores is doing. That
I don't
that
know.
Dolphins team has been so up and down. They're a weird 10-win team.
Yeah,
They've
but
had flashes of
apparently,
being great, but
as of today, the GM said that like Tua is their guy in
good,
2021. Like he's going to be the starter, so they're
good,
already committing to him.
good.
Um, so yeah, man, and the Bills, that's the team we've been talking about for a couple weeks now. Like they could do some damage in the playoffs, man,
Yeah, they're the biggest threat to the Chiefs for sure.
for sure. And I think we both had the Bills on that one, correct?
Yep, we both had Buffalo.
Nice. The second one here was the Ravens and the Bengals, which was also a blowout.
Mm-hmm.
We everybody kind of expected that as well.
Three more touchdowns for Lamar. Only had 10 completions, but hey, only 10 of 18, so it wasn't like he needed to do too much when you have J.K. Dobbins, Buckeyes,
man,
running the ball like crazy.
yeah, he's been killing it the past couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean they're just trying to get some momentum as well going into the playoffs. I think we both had the Ravens in that one too.
Yep. This next one we differed on.
This next one we did the Browns and the Steelers, man. It was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, the Browns 24-22. Beat the backups.
Barely beat the backups, which doesn't bode well for their playoff chances, especially with the COVID news.
It was bad. Look, it looked bad before all the COVID news.
Yeah.
And now we have all the COVID news coming out. And did you see this new report about 2 Browns that were drag racing this morning?
I didn't see that. That is one
they were both cited for drag racing this morning.
Wow.
So the team was like, we were aware of this. We're gonna go, proceed, do what we gotta do. But it was one of the wide receivers, Higgins, and I was just like, Jesus, oh God, like at the wrong time. It was a left tackle, Jedrick Wills, and wide receiver Rashard Higgins, both cited for drag racing Tuesday morning.
Wow.
It's just like it keeps getting worse and worse for him at the worst possible time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
but I picked Pittsburgh. You picked Cleveland in that one. I thought even Pittsburgh's backups were going to win.
Yeah, I had no faith in Mason Rudolph. As soon as I saw that he was like starting, I was like, not going to do it.
Hey, you were smart.
But we'll see, man. The next one is the Vikings and the Lions, which was pretty close as well.
Yeah, definitely. This was a very close game, but we pretty much expected the outcome here. We both picked Minnesota.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's playing nice.
Yeah.
Too bad they didn't make the playoffs, but he's playing pretty nice.
And this might have been Matt Stafford's last game in Detroit. So
potentially
could go to you guys, possibly Indianapolis.
We'll talk about that later. I got a lot to say about Matt Stafford later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that then.
This next game here, my boys, a hell of a performance on the way out. You picked the Jets, the blasphemy.
I did.
I picked New England. Rolled with my boys on the last week of the season here. Cam Newton actually had a great game. He had a great farewell game, and I said even last week that I was going to wear his jersey this week because I knew it was going to be his last game. But then the Buckeyes went out and did what they did, so I couldn't.
Yeah, Buckeyes won. You had to. I understand. But I mean, yeah, the Patriots, they actually played really decent that game.
3 touchdowns for Cam.
How fitting is it that you guys got Adam Gase fired? Mm-hmm. You guys are the straw that broke the camel's back. You out of here, Adam Gase.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.
It was nice to see Cam Newton catch a touchdown because we never had a quarterback who could do that. We've only seen it be done against us.
And so just like Matt Stafford, Cam Newton's final game in a New England Patriots uniform.
Possibly. I will probably wear his jersey next week unless something crazy happens. Why? I don't know if we'll see what happens with the postponement and shit, but like I'll probably wear his jersey next week just as like a thank you, Cam. Even though we didn't do nothing, like it was nice seeing you in the Patriots jersey, more or less. Like it was.
That's like how I have my Dwayne Wade jersey for the Bulls. Right. Like, hey, he was at least there. I got to see him play. He was
started the whole year pretty much, other than the COVID. When he got COVID. So like,
yeah.
like he was saying, he even came out and he was talking about it like in the team's eyes, I don't think it was a failure here, more or less. Like he in the locker room, more or less. Like he's been such a great quarterback, great teammate for everybody. It just seems like he's no drama, no BS, only wanted to learn, has nothing but good things to say about New England and Bill Belichick, and like that's great.
He was saying that like he thinks Bill Belichick's one of the coolest fucking people. Like he would love to be chill at a bar with him.
So whether he's back as a backup next year, that'd be awesome. But I think we're moving forward quarterback wise. So let's just move on here to the next one.
The Cowboys and the Giants. I forget who we both had picked in this one.
We both picked Dallas.
Did we?
Yep.
Oh man, yeah, that
both
didn't
caught an L on that one.
The Giants, man, they
did a whole lot of shit for a team that won 6 games.
They are like the most entitled 6-win team I have ever seen in my life. Like we did our part.
You only needed to win one more game to not have to do your part.
They were one Evan Ingram catch away from having one more win.
Like, I don't want to hear, like, every time I see anything about them, even this last couple of days about them just bitching about the Eagles.
We'll talk about that, though.
You controlled your own destiny.
Exactly.
Like, it's not like you both were 11 and 10 wins or something like you were 6 wins. You had plenty of opportunities. You know what I mean? The Eagles did not cost you your season, more or less. Like
Eagles had 2 less wins than they do.
Exactly.
What do they expect us to win?
I didn't like seeing all that backlash, even though like I kind of am on the side with the Eagles simply because you moved 3 spots up in the draft. Whether that's going to be a good decision or not, it's like go for it on 4th down.
Why risk playing them even when he's taking shots behind that O-line?
It's like going for it on 4th down, which is perfectly in character with the Eagles. So like, fuck it.
I think
there's not an uncharacteristic.
Everyone's like, why would they go for it on 4th? Have you not paid attention this whole damn season?
Not been watching.
They're the team that's went for it on 4th down the most out of any other team.
And the rate of them being successful is very, very low, and they still go for it all the time. So that's when you know they're going to keep
analytics, baby. That's why they go for it.
And that loss was the analytical move, 100%.
Oh 100%. Yeah. Agreed.
I completely agree with it. I wouldn't necessarily like wish for it. I know you didn't wish for a loss either, but like you agree with the outcome. You're like, whatever. This is what you know what I mean. You're not just like exactly. I'm more on the side of doing it than the Giants and all that. Like I hate all that. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but I mean the Giants won. The Cowboys. I kind of wish it was flip-flopped just because I wish we would have boned the Cowboys on this one. I'd just be like, take that, Jerry. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't feel as good against the Giants because I don't have the hatred for the Giants like I do the Cowboys.
I have some hatred for the Giants, so it felt very good.
That's understandable.
I'm very glad this
happened. But on to the next game, the Falcons and the Buccaneers. I think we both. I picked the Falcons, didn't I? Or
nope.
I picked the Buccaneers.
We both picked the Bucs.
Okay.
This was a great game, though.
It was
until the end of it. Until whenever Tom Brady started running away with the. Actually, Tom Brady didn't even play the whole game, did he? Is this the game where he came out at halftime?
That was last week.
That was last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he threw for 400 yards, 399 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Only had one pick.
Tom Brady is just balling right now. Apparently, he's thrown more deep balls this year than any other year of his career. Like that's crazy.
What if they go to the Super Bowl, man?
What if they go to the Super Bowl, man?
At the beginning of the season, you're like, middle of the season, you're like, no, they're falling apart. Now we're like, they're coming together at the perfect time. They're like the Bills. They're dangerous. They drop 50 points on you if they want to.
That's going to be one of the best conference championship games if it's the Packers and Tampa Bay.
I think it might end up having to be them matching up second round, depending on how things happen.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I don't know exactly how the playoffs are going to unfold here. But we can make our predictions on the current playoff brackets here too later on here.
But yeah, I mean, we both picked the Buccaneers on this one. They balled out.
Speaking of Green Bay.
Yep. Green Bay was this next one, and they put a mollywhopping on the Bears. who are somehow still in the playoffs.
Hey, I kind of want to pick the Bears as my dark horse to win in Wild Card Weekend. We'll get to that, but like Packers did what we expected them to do against the Bears.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers
4 more touchdowns.
Automatic. He was 19 of 24, 240 yards and 4 touchdowns. Like, this dude is just, I feel like he's like a robot. Like, he automatically knows where to throw it. He reads the field so quick. It's wild. He could just read defenses.
You're right. He's probably MVP this year. 100% I agree with you. I was just thinking Josh Allen has been playing great football, man, but Aaron Rodgers is playing better.
He's been playing great football all year, like nonstop.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the Bears, they couldn't do anything against, like, how are you going to stop the Green Bay's like offense is so good right now. Like Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones are just, oh my God.
Exactly. And like even the other key pieces there, the other role players they have, like Lazard, like it looks like it's coming together for them at the right time. Matt LaFleur, by the way, 2 straight 13 seasons. You know, not too bad for this like pretty young coach.
You know, just shabby.
Saying. Not too shabby. Took him to the NFC Championship game last year. We'll see what happens this year. Just say.
But yeah, the Packers, we both had them picked. The next one here is the Raiders and the Broncos, and I'm pretty sure I picked the Raiders in this one.
Yep, I picked the Broncos.
I mean, it got as close as it could get it. It was 32-31.
Almost was right, man. That's another L I took. I didn't do terrible this week, but I didn't do as good as you. You won we'll get to that, the final scores of the year here. But I picked the Broncos, you picked the Raiders.
Okay.
We'll see where they go going forward.
Yeah, I mean, both quarterbacks threw for over 300 yards. Both had 2 touchdowns. Not game related, but Josh Jacobs has apparently been arrested on DUI this morning, which
very interesting.
I mean, he's very young. He's like, what is it, the second year in the league? So I mean, that's definitely not good, man. So hopefully he gets everything straightened out in that case. But the Raiders, they have a lot to figure out. On the Broncos side, John Elway promoted himself, I guess. He fired himself and promoted himself.
Exactly.
So Elway is not the GM anymore. He's just the president of player personnel, I guess, or president of football operations. And now they're gonna have to hire a new GM. So hopefully, maybe the Broncos get things on track with a new GM, you know, pulling the strings.
Get back to them contending every year in the AFC, giving enough threat to Kansas City in that division there.
Yeah, but like what we talked about with Cody a couple weeks ago, go watch that podcast. Is like they had to compete with the Raiders and the Chiefs.
And the Chargers with Herbert.
And the Chargers, and the Chargers. But yeah, I mean, both teams. I mean, the Raiders, they started out well, but they ended so bad. They ended so terribly.
8-8 after the start that they had, man.
Yeah. The next game here is the Jaguars and Colts, and the Colts were playing for a playoff spot, and they got it. You know, they took the Jaguars down. It was looking a little shaky there going in the fourth quarter until the start pulled away.
Phillip Rivers said he's going to retire if they didn't win that game.
I'm going to retire.
He's going to retire after they lose in the first round here to the Bills. So it is what it is. But
probably.
It's nice to see them make the playoffs at 11-5 after the turmoil they've been through. Andrew Luck suddenly retire and just like all this, you know. Hey, they ended up going through all of that. They didn't win the division, but they still ended up making the playoffs. So it is what it is. They're going to have to look for a quarterback next year. Carson Wentz. We'll see what happens.
No. We'll talk about that.
We both had Indy in that one.
Matt Stafford's going to Indianapolis. The next game here, because pretty sure we both had the Colts in that one. The Chargers and the Chiefs. The Chargers got a dub, mainly because most of the Chiefs starters are out for that game.
We both picked the Chargers because we were like, hey, if this is the time to pick against Chiefs, this is it. So we got an easy win on that one. I was like, hey, I'll be damned. You know, I should have like your Cleveland pick earlier. Like it was almost a no-brainer, and I still went with Pittsburgh. But hey, it is what it is.
And on some bullshit, the Chargers fired the coach today, which is like, man, he's gave you a couple good decent seasons. like before.
Right.
I mean, last year wasn't that great, but he gave you a couple
Maybe
decent
they're
seasons.
just looking for somebody else, man.
Yeah,
We'll see
I mean,
what
it's
happens.
possible.
I know they asked the Giants for permission to interview Jason Garrett, so they'll get what's coming to them if they hire that motherfucker. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I was
So
gonna
like,
say about that. Like, that is not a good decision on their part. I would rather keep that
we'll,
pool that they had over
we'll
Jason Garrett.
we'll see what happens as far as their future.
But yeah, the Chargers, we both picked them. The next one here is the Cardinals and the Rams, and the Cardinals just, man, they are bad right now.
Disappointed
They're
me
in a
again.
bad spot.
I picked Arizona.
Yeah,
You picked the Rams.
yeah, I picked the Rams. I do have a crazy stat that I saw before. One of the most prolific passings in the single most prolific passing season in NFL history, Jalen Ramsey only allowed 20 yards per game in coverage.
Wow.
That's crazy. Like, especially with some of the like teams they played, he's only allowed 20 yards per game in his coverage.
So he's top of his game right now.
Yeah. Because apparently this season has been like they've surpassed passing yards by like a crazy amount. Like other than like past years, they've had like more touchdowns and more passing yards than any other season. So I mean that's wild that
and he's
only
still
allowed
playing lockdown.
Lockdown D. He's earning that check, that bag that he got. But yeah, the Rams. I mean, the Rams beat them because I don't know what's wrong with Kyler Murray's hurt. I mean, he was definitely hurt. He kind of came out and then he came back in.
Yeah. We don't know if Jared Goff's gonna start week in the wild card or not. Coming back from the surgery.
The Rams were out
won't
Goff, and they were out Cup because Cup was on the COVID protocol.
But apparently
list.
he's expected back because Jared Goff is more of a game time decision. Like even McVay was like, as long as he's ready by 1:39 on Saturday. And then the game starts at 1:40. He's like, I'll know at 1:39 on Saturday who the starter is. Like, so. But I picked Arizona. You picked the Rams. Next, we have Seattle and the 49ers. Classic divisional matchup at the end of the year there. But Seattle ended up getting the win. We expected this.
Yeah, I mean, the 49ers, even without a lot of these like starters and big name players, they've been somewhat in every game that they've played. I mean, they end up losing, but they still ended up with 6 wins, but they were in most of the games. Russ,
they had to finish their season in a different stadium, and like they had a lot of problems this year. So it is what it is. If any team's been affected by this whole year and injuries, it's been the 49ers.
Yeah, out of everybody. But yeah, we both picked the Seahawks in that one. We expected that. The next one here is the Saints and the Panthers, and the Saints they put a whooping on the Panthers this game. We both picked the Saints
as well. Yep.
Yeah,
this is another win for us. Them rolling into the playoffs here as the 2 seed. Green Bay locked up the bye week, so they're rolling in with the 2 seed.
Yeah. And the next game is the Titans and the Texans, which, man, that was a pretty high scoring game than I thought.
This is crazy.
41-38. Derrick Henry, man, he's passed 2,000 yards on the season. He joins like 5 other players in NFL history.
It's wild. Like he might win MVP himself, but like I really doubt it. Yeah. I really, really doubt it. Maybe Offensive Player of the Year. But it's amazing. It's an amazing feat to have 2,000 yards, leading the league in rushing 2 years in a row. It was a big enough feat. You know what I mean? Like, just then he's better the second year. 2,000.
Yeah.
It's just
after
amazing.
getting
we'll
paid
see how
too.
they do.
So he's just like nothing's on his mind. He ain't got to worry about nothing other than running that football.
Can the Ravens stop that man? We'll see.
I mean, Houston, on the other hand, Deshaun Watson, he has like over 4,000 passing yards on the season. There's that sad video that came out of like J.J. Watt telling him he's sorry that he wasted a year of his career. It's crazy, man. And I did see something else. Brandon Cooks has had 1,000-yard season and for 4 different teams, and he's only 27. So I mean, as much as we give shit to Brandon Cooks because he gets hurt or concussed a lot, he's had 4 1,000-yard seasons on multiple teams, and he's only 27.
He was real nice with us until you knocked him out. So
Yeah, and
I'm
then
not much
since then
respect
he's
for
been
Brandon
getting
Cook.
knocked out every now and then.
Yeah, but he's still catching some balls. So
I mean, he was going to Super Bowls too.
exactly.
But yeah, I mean the Texans they got a lot of rebuilding to do. Deshaun Watson, I mean, even without all these weapons and everything, he still balled out. He was like how Carson was last year, pretty much. He was balling out with nothing at that
With
point.
whatever he's got.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate that the defense really wasn't helping him at all. They weren't.
Right.
They were pretty much playing from behind every game.
Exactly. So like he had to play catch up every time, and he was making the mistakes players do when they're playing catch up all the time. It is what it is.
Exactly.
Still over 4,000 yards.
Yeah. And in the next game, we did talk about a little bit. I think if they wouldn't have moved this damn game to prime time, we wouldn't even be hearing about any of this bullshit. If this would have been a 1 o'clock game, we wouldn't have heard anything about it. But since it was prime time, everybody's watching it. All the attention's right there.
That's why it's still being talked about.
That's why it's still being talked about.
A game between a 4-10 team and a 6-9 team.
I would have rather seen the Packers and the Bears or someone, on prime time. Why would you have to put the Eagles and the Redskins? Oh, sorry, bleep that out. The Washington No Names. But seriously, I started watching at the beginning of the second quarter because I was like, I'm not gonna watch this game. We're not playing for anything. Like, we're out. We're not going to play us. And then I gave in. I turned the game on, and I watched pretty much the rest of it. Shout out to Philly 500. I was watching his live stream. He was on one of our podcasts a while ago. And, man, I expected it, to be honest. Everybody pissed off because they put Nate Sudfeld in. But if they would have looked closely, they said, like, Wednesday that they were planning on giving Sudfeld some time. And, I mean, you got another quarterback, like, dude wants to play a quarter of in a game. He hasn't played at all. He's been inactive all season. Let the dude play a quarter. Whatever. Was it for tanking? That's not for me to say. That's not for me to say.
I don't know.
But I don't know, man. The Eagles look like if they wanted to, they would have won that game. I mean, it was like 13-10 at that point whenever they pulled Jalen Hurts. And I was like, all right.
Instead of taking a field goal.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that happen before. But but I mean, you had like all these players and that like you never even like we were short on some players this year, but there's players I've never even heard of playing in that game.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't look good on Washington's part because we were like, take the game, like run with it, and they were just like, no, you could have it. Like you could have it. Like Alex Smith throwing interceptions, and like I don't know. And then you got reports like last night, early this morning about like there was a couple defensive players on the Eagles that wanted to confront Peterson and they had to be held back and some shit. Like there was a report of that. And then like Miles Sanders said he got interviewed today and he was like, yeah, players weren't happy about what happened during the game and like voicing their frustration. I was like, oh, great. Now like Peterson officially lost the locker room now.
Yeah.
And I'm not even
he saved his job, but he lost the locker
I'm not
room.
even convinced it was Peterson's decision. I think it might have been Laurie or Howie be like, listen, we need a better draft pick. Like,
it's because he went out of his way to say that it was his decision. So why I don't think it is his decision.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that they say he's safe, but I'm also at this point expecting like possibly, Doug Peterson's been fired because of this bullshit. Like they need an excuse as like a fall guy or some shit. I don't know. I pretty much expect them to job. Yeah.
You get us that sixth pick, you keep your job.
I don't know, man. And then you got the backlash from the Giants fans. It's like, come on, you guys could have won more games. Don't put it on us.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm kind of happy we got the sixth pick.
Next year.
On to the next year. I'm excited for free agency.
And we ain't going to be talking much about our two teams for the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, for a while.
We're gonna definitely be touching in on whatever news we got going on, but we got shoved to irrelevancy here for January football.
And
this feels weird, man.
I'll leave some of the other stuff I have for the bias bubble and everything. But one thing that did happen after the game was apparently Zach Ertz, Carson Wentz, and Jason Kelce all went out on the field, and they were there for a couple hours. Apparently, they were there until after 1. They were there until just like 1 or 1:30 a.m. just chilling on the field. Because I mean, this could be Wentz, Ertz, and Kelce's last game as an Eagle. You know, Kelce, he's been contemplating retirement for the past couple years. Even though he's like one of the best centers in football still. But at this point, it's like, do you want to go through a rebuild now? Or like, what's going on? Like, is Carson leaving? Ertz is crying in press conferences yesterday. Like, I brought this dude's fucking jersey out. I had to. I was either going to wear my Jordan jersey or my Zach Ertz jersey. Because I'm like, man, this dude, this is Philadelphia right here. Zach Ertz.
What I got in the background, because this man ain't getting no love all year. You see that, right?
Where?
Number 11 in the background.
Oh.
Just chilling. Just chilling. Julian Edelman. They get no love all year because he was hurt all year, dealing with COVID issues, dealing with a whole bunch. Well, it don't matter to any of this part of this conversation, but just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I expected Ertz to get traded, but it wasn't until I saw his speech about Philadelphia and him crying where I'm like, damn, this dude is like, it's affecting me now that I'm like, damn, this could actually happen. Like, Ertz might not be here next year at this point. And I'm like, it's crazy to see how much the city means to him. Like, people have been like posting pictures of him just walking around Philadelphia, like from like since his tenure, but like just walking around the streets of Philly with like his buddies or whatever, or he's just walking around like helping people. Like, it's like Philly means a lot to him. Like, a lot of the players, like most of the people that play for Philly long term, they tell you it's way different than any other city. Like, Malcolm Jenkins says that, like, his heart's in Philly right now, even though he's in New Orleans. But I mean, it's business at the end of the day.
If you play there, if you're from outside of Philly, they hate you, they kill you, they don't care, they rip your heart out.
But like, if you get on the fan base's good side, you're good for life, pretty much. Like, you're good unless you do something really messed up. But I mean, it really was eye-opening to see like all three of them just chilling on the field, taking it in like hours after the game. You know, like, this could be their last time. So I mean, it's kind of sad in a way. So I mean, I'd like the only jersey I have that'll be a current player is Miles Sanders.
I got my McCourty and my Hightower.
Oh man.
And my Gilmore. But who knows how long these players will still be there.
Yeah.
Edelman.
But yeah,
but like they all might be going, oh my god.
But yeah, the season's over. So we got some more predictions here.
Final week. You finished 14-2.
That was my best week. I think that's the best week I've had this season.
That is the single best week of the season at 14-2. The only two gaffes were games that you should have picked the other way. You really should have. And it was Dallas, which the Giants. I don't like you. A normal Wyatt would never have picked Dallas, so like that was a weird one. And the other one was the Jets against the New England Patriots, which you picked almost just like a joke. So like you could have gone 16-0 this week. And I just want to bring that to the attention because 14-2, but I want to bring it to attention that it was more realistically, he probably should have just went 16-0 if this was like, I don't even know, like he picked the Jets as a joke and Dallas as a joke. So like, just say, you finished 166-90.
Okay.
Didn't hit 100 losses. I finished 160-96. So
that's what I'm talking about.
Six
both
games
under 100 losses.
Both under 100. I wonder what that percentage is. I didn't do the math here, but we're doing pretty good, man. We're doing pretty good on these picks. That
next season.
Yeah, actually, absolutely.
Now to get into some exciting stuff. Wild card weekend.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun,
Dun, dun. I'm gonna start playing
Ta-da.
the music right now. Like right now, the
And
NFL
Wild
music's
Card
playing as we're
Weekend
about
is
to go over
very
this.
eventful. We got 3 games on Saturday and 3 games on Sunday, which,
This is
oh my
great.
God, and
This is
playoff
great.
football, nonetheless. Like,
This is
everything
great. Not
matters.
used
This all
three.
matters.
This all matters so much.
All matters so much. The
Let's go
first
through
game
here.
is the Colts and the Bills, and the
Mm,
Bills are 6.5 point favorites over the Colts. Um,
mm.
I think I'm gonna pick the Bills, man. I got to at this point.
I'm rolling with the Bills as well. They're going way too strong right now. The Colts are kind of, they're faulty. They're
Yeah,
not as good as they've been throughout the season, and the Bills are hitting on all cylinders. It's easy to
yeah,
pick the Bills and the over on this one. The over is at 51. The over under. I'm definitely rolling with the Bills.
yeah. I think the only way the Colts will come out with a dub is if they end up getting some points on the board first, and then somehow
Yeah.
get some momentum and keep rolling.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know if that Colts defense is as decent as it is. They're not great, but they're decent. I don't think they're stopping the Bills, especially at this point.
Hmm.
Um, and I think the Bills defense is decent enough that they can stop the Colts. So I mean,
Right.
yeah. So definitely the
But
Bills, man.
next up, we have the Rams and the Seahawks at 440.
Oh man, this is a weird game because like, is Jared Goff going to be playing? He had surgery on his, I think it was his thumb. They said.
Mm-hmm.
And the Seahawks, they're not like, they haven't been like super impressive the past like 5 weeks. So
I'm
it's,
rolling with Seattle in this one just
yeah,
because Jared Goff his status is so iffy. Don't know what's gonna happen. I know LA's defense is amazing, but
yeah. We
I
talked about
just feel like
Jalen Ramsey.
Russell will figure out. Right, I feel like Russell Wilson will figure out how to get this
Um,
done. I'm rolling with
Now
Seattle.
I'm gonna look. Did these two teams play? They played each other before. The Rams beat them 23-16 the
Mhm.
last time that they
With
met.
Jared Goff.
Yeah, twice. The other game, the Seahawks beat them 20-9.
So, like you said, depends on what Rams team really shows up. Honestly, what Seattle team, because they're both wishy-washy all
Oh my
throughout the
God, yeah.
season.
So
But
I mean, this
I
one could
think
go either way.
I'm rolling with Seattle.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Seattle as well. I'm going. My gut's telling me to go with Seattle.
This
Um,
next one here,
yeah,
the
this one's gonna
night
be a
game.
this is gonna be a bloodbath. I think the Tampa Bay Gronkaneers are gonna mollywop the Washington No Names out of the
Hmm.
playoffs. Like,
I agree.
Washington,
I
I mean,
think
they
they
didn't
go
deserve to be in it to
well
begin with.
over.
But yeah,
Right. I think they go well over his 45 here. Even though Chase Young's talking like, I want to get to Tom Brady, I'm gonna stack Tom
yeah.
Brady. Like, he might get to him. He might,
Bruce
but
Arians told him, "Be careful what you wish for."
yeah, so we both got Buccaneers in that one.
They should flex that one out of the night game and put like the Colts and the Bills or the Rams and the Seahawks into the night
You got to
game.
put Tom Brady in prime time.
That's true. That's true. On Sunday, the first game is the Ravens and the Titans, an old rematch from last year. And then the
What's
Titans
gonna
got the
happen
best of them
here?
last year. As
Mm,
everybody knows, Derrick Henry ran all over them.
mm.
Uh, this this is
This is
a
gonna be
iffy
a
game.
knuckleball game.
Knuckleball game. Can the
The type of
Ravens?
people that win knuckleball games are people like Mike Vrabel and Derrick Henry. I'm
I
picking
kind of have
Tennessee.
I have more confidence in Tennessee. I feel like all around they're a better team. Their
Hmm.
defense, I feel like their offense, like I as good as I know that Lamar Jackson is, I think if it comes down to them have a quarterback having to win a game, I think Tannehill is going to be able to do it. Like Tannehill, I
Yeah,
mean, he's been passing like crazy. They've been running the ball, but I don't know.
I really don't know. I think Lamar Jackson is the better overall quarterback. Not gonna lie, like skill wise,
Yeah,
and
I would
everything.
agree.
I just think there's a lot more pieces on Tennessee that are top tier talent than there are at the moment
Yeah,
on the Baltimore Ravens. So like overall, even though they got great players in Baltimore,
yeah.
I think Tennessee takes this one at the end of the day. If it comes down to a fourth quarter game, then Tennessee's just handing the ball off to Derrick Henry, what are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, they're both 11-5 teams.
Yep.
I think it'll like what you said, it'll be a knuckleball game.
Mhm.
But I agree. I think the Titans are gonna end up coming out with the dub again.
Right.
And I think Derrick Henry's gonna have like 150 yards and like
Yeah.
2
At
touchdowns
least. At least.
at least.
This
Um,
next game.
the Saints and the Bears. New Orleans are 10-point favorites, which is
Damn.
I think it's pretty high given how like decent the Bears defense is. I thought, but
And without Kamara.
yeah, without Kamara.
I'm gonna be real cheeky here. I'm gonna pick the Bears.
Ooh.
The Bears.
I mean, it would fit the Saints blowing, and it would be a close game too. And the Bears would somehow win it on some crazy shit at the end, and it would just like, oh, the Saints blew it again.
It's in New Orleans too.
It's in New Orleans.
Is perfectly set up for them to blow this game. I'm gonna get ahead with it, picking the Bears.
Yeah. The only thing I'm worried about is what you said without Kamara, because Drew Brees usually relies on Kamara a lot. That's how they end up winning games. So what's he going to be able to do without Kamara is the question.
Who you picking?
I think I'm going to just roll with the Saints. I mean, I'll be that guy.
Okay.
I don't trust the Bears. I don't trust Mitchell Trubisky enough.
That's our one difference so far.
Yeah.
So that'll be the tiebreaker. Because I think we both know who we're picking in this next game. Even though
the night game here is the Browns and the Steelers.
Even though we give Pittsburgh so much crap all year, the Browns are coming. They could not have the worst possible momentum coming into this game. Like, it's just a bad storm for them right now.
Yeah.
If anything going
As of right now, the Browns have placed 17 players on the COVID reserve list over the past 2 weeks, and 10 of those are still on the list, including Joel Bitonio and Cadrell Hodge. I think I'm pronouncing that right. They were added today amongst the head coach who tested positive, who's not going to be coaching in a playoff game.
Nope.
So, I mean, that alone, I'm going to give it to the Steelers, because you lose your coach, who mainly calls the plays, from what I've heard, for the Browns. Like, that's
replace him with the special teams coach, I'm pretty sure. That's who's going to be interim here.
That's a huge loss. So, I mean, I would probably pick the Browns if they had their coach and they had some players that weren't on the list, but I cannot feel comfortable picking the Browns right now.
No, me neither. Pittsburgh will end up squeaking by a wild card.
But the next game, they could be out. They could be out of here. We'll see.
See what happens.
But that is wild card weekend, man. I am super excited to watch all of these games.
I'm going to be watching the Nickelodeon broadcast with my son.
Yeah, that I'm going to tune in just to see how it is, man.
They're going to be putting two choose-on players as they landed in slime eyes. Big old googly eyes. They'll be like, this is crazy.
I will take a lot of vitamins and watch that game.
Have a couple beers.
Watch beers.
Like, what the? You know what I mean? But hey, that's wildcard weekend. Looking forward to it. Can't wait to talk about it next Tuesday. Or Tuesday,
definitely.
Release on Thursday. Yep.
And in other news, Black Monday happened. A lot of jobs opened up. A lot of people. Some people were fired. Like Adam Gase was fired. Dude from the Chargers was fired. I don't know why. His name just keeps like slipping my mind. I did have a list here, I thought. But there was there was
Jaguars.
6. There was 7 teams that needed GMs. Apparently the Texans have found theirs as of tonight, they announced. Nick Caserio of the Patriots, apparently. He's going to be their new GM, and it's 1 year after New England blocked the move. They were going to sign him last year, but New England's like, nope. You can't have him.
Nope.
Not yet. Apparently, Nick Caserio, he's going to be the next GM for the Texans. So hopefully, maybe he can right that ship over there.
See what happens. Save Deshaun Watson's career, because I hate seeing it just fade like this, man.
Yeah. The other teams are the Panthers, the Lions, the Falcons, the Jaguars, the Washington No Names, and the Broncos now at this point.
As far as
So,
GM vacancies.
as far as GM vacancies, I mean, most of those are pretty much head coaching vacancies as well. It seems.
Yeah.
Other than like the Broncos, the Panthers, pretty much, yeah.
What do you think
Everybody
about the
else.
rumors of Urban Meyer being the Jacksonville Jaguars' next head coach with Trevor Lawrence?
I don't know, man. I know a lot of people think it's going to be a bad move on Urban Meyer's part. Like they don't think he's going to translate well to the NFL, but who knows?
I think it would be a great idea. Typical, like, I mean, in the past, college coaches don't translate well, but now we're in a different era where you got. I mean, I know what Cliff Kingsbury's going through right now, but like, it's a different world out there. Let's see if Urban Meyer can come in here and build a nice squad up from the ground up, more or less, because like that's what he's being faced with if he goes to Jacksonville. But at least he's got his quarterback.
Yeah.
I would like to see it just off of his history. Like I want to see him back, and I'd rather see him go to the NFL than go to a different college team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree. I would like to see what he could do within the NFL. There is something else I did. I have a couple things here to talk about with the NFL. One thing I neglected to mention was Aaron Rodgers finished the season with more touchdown passes than the number of times the Packers punted the ball.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he had 48 touchdown passes, and they only punted 46 times, which that's wild in itself. The next thing I do have here, the 2021 NFL Hall of Fame finalist names have been announced.
Some big names.
Some big names. Peyton Manning, who's definitely going to be going in. Charles Woodson, Calvin Johnson, Terry Holt, Reggie Wayne, Rondé Barber, Jared Allen, John Lynch. Like, you have a ton of huge names, man. That's going to be awesome.
This is going to be very interesting, especially how they handle it. As far as like, because you know how every year they have people knocking on the doors, and like you're inducted into, like, how are they going to do it this year? It's going to be very interesting, but it's going to be awesome to see some of these players that we grew up watching start making the Hall of Fame over the next couple of years. Like, that's what I'm kind of excited for. The Peyton Mannings, the Charles Woodsons. I remember being
exactly
little kid
like
watching Charles Woodson ball, like little kid watching Charles Woodson.
I didn't think about it from that point of view, because like growing up, we've been seeing like the Hall of Fame of players like we've heard about, obviously, but haven't really got to see throughout their career. But we're starting to get into the time now where we're seeing people we grew up watching entering the Hall of Fame.
Kobe's going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah, like that's wild.
That's wild to me. I can't believe he's been out 5 years, but this,
we talked about before how like we remember watching it. That's one of the best times we've had was watching that final game of his.
Right,
like him dropping
5 years already. Jeez.
Right, time flies, man.
But yeah, this is a great crop of Hall of Fame finalists here.
Definitely. And I think the last thing I have here is the draft order. Yep. That's going to be happening here. That came out. They have the first 18 picks. I'll just go through like the top 10 real quick. Goes Jacksonville, obviously. Are they taking Trevor Lawrence? Are they taking Fields? What's going on? Who knows? The Jets are number 2. Via Houston Texans, the Dolphins are getting the 3rd pick, even though they had a decent amount of wins this year. Apparently, they might get
Justin Fields.
I don't know. I can see him taking one of the big wide receivers that are coming out, given to a weapon, you know. The Falcons are number 4. The Bengals are number 5. My Birds are number 6. They got that one now. The Lions are 7. The Panthers are 8. The Broncos are 9. And old Dallas is 10.
Hey.
But yeah,
Patriots
that's the
got
15. Order. I know we're in the playoffs, but man, I cannot wait till next football season, or at least around draft time when free agency and like I see like all the pieces coming together, who's leaving, who's coming in. That's like the most exciting.
We want training camp already.
Right?
Training camp,
I love it.
Please.
I love it just because like, you know, our teams are out and shit. It's I'm ready to see some more news about our teams. But that's pretty much all the football stuff I had as far as the news goes.
Yep, same here.
Before we talk about NBA, there is a little bit of NHL news that popped up today. And apparently the NHL sold the rights to the division names. And
like
a lot of people
advertisers.
And a lot of people aren't happy about this. So
like
pretty
the
much
Chick-fil-A North Atlantic division.
The West Division is Honda West Division. The North Canadian Division is Scotia. I'm guessing it's like Scotia Bank. I'm not really sure about Scotia. Discover Central Division, Discover Card. And then the East Division is Mass Mutual, which is an insurance company. So it's Mass Mutual East Division. And a lot of people are really upset because, like, I'll have to send you the picture of, like, the division. Because they actually have, like, graphics. Like,
that sounds
put it up on the screen here.
Terrible. Sounds so terrible, so over the top.
They have a graphic
have
for
that up
each
on the
division
screen here.
with the logo and the name of the actual sponsor on it. But yeah, a lot of people were upset about that. That's the news that came out of the NHL. And the other somewhat news that they announced a couple of days ago is that they're going to be having 2 outdoors games this year. A lot of people didn't think they were going to, and I think it's going to be in Canada. Word. But that'll be pretty cool. So I mean, we can move right into the NBA here.
Pretty much just wanted to hit the hot start my Lakers have been having so far. It's pretty nice. And the Sixers taking off at 6-1 so far. Very interesting. Man. In the East, you have the Sixers, Orlando at 5-2, Indiana at 5-2. You got teams like Milwaukee down in like the 7th seed right now. I know we're only 7 games into the season, but like it's very nice to see teams taking off real quick off the jump, like young teams like Orlando, like something like that.
Yeah, Orlando is a team not a lot of people are going to be able. Yeah, they came back a little bit. I was going to talk about that. Then they won like 3 straight, pretty much. They're 3-4 right now.
Same record as Brooklyn right now.
They are losing to Portland right now, so I mean they could be 3-5. But I was a little happy to see that they got 3 in a row just to kind of make up for what happened.
Right, Levine's been balling.
Yeah, Levine's been balling. Kobe White's been balling. But
in the West, we got the Clippers, Lakers, and Phoenix all tied at 5-2 for that 1-2-3 at the top there. Yeah. Golden State has been making a resurgence here based off of the beginning of the season.
They look stronger and stronger every game, it seems. I mean, Steph, he dropped 62 the other night, man. Like, he's been balling so hard.
Lakers ended up beating Memphis tonight, so they're actually 6-2.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early, but I mean, like, the Knicks are 4-3 right now. Yeah. The Knicks are doing well. That's a team nobody really thought was going to be doing that well.
I love fresh start of the NBA season, man. You did have a couple injuries here, like Dinwiddie going down for the season. Apparently, KD is going to be out for a couple games here of COVID.
Yeah, he was in close protocols.
Right.
And Ja Morant, he's going to be out for like 5 weeks. They said
5 weeks, right?
With that.
But hey, it's great to have it back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad. You know, I'm paying attention more this year than I did last year, just because everything that was going on within the Bulls organization last year. It makes me want to pay attention to it a little bit more, which is good, man. I'm happy to be paying attention to it a little bit more.
It's fun, man. I love
it. It is super fun. I mean, I forgot there was because like when your team's so bad for a while, you're just like, I'm not paying attention. I'll pay attention, but I'm not like in depth. Like I've been looking into it a lot more. I've been watching some games.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there is some news from the NBA that I did see. To offset the financial losses due to COVID-19, the NBA is considering adding 2 expansion franchises to the league.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder what cities. Maybe Seattle gets a team again.
It's possible because they've been talking about that for a while now. Possibly bringing Seattle
interesting.
Back. But yeah, just because of how much money they've been losing due to COVID, they're going to try to recoup the losses with bringing 2 franchise teams in. Right. So that'll be interesting. That'll be something to keep your eye on.
Association. That'd be interesting. Like that, like you said, it's just something to keep your eye on going forward here. not too much more to talk about here as far as basketball. I think.
Yeah,
Still super early in the season.
Yeah, exactly. It's all pretty early.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we have here? Pretty much that's all I had as far as news. I mean, we did break down a lot of
I
things.
did want to talk about the Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, that happened
Devontae
tonight.
Smith got the Heisman Trophy tonight. He's been balling all season for Alabama.
Dude's gonna look good in
Probably,
a Eagles uniform.
yeah. I mean, he's probably gonna be the first wide receiver off the board. So if you guys take the first wide receiver, you'll end up with this dude.
I actually kind of expect Miami to take him, to be honest. I'm actually expecting them to take him.
I'd like the wide receiver Terrace Marshall for LSU. I think he has a possibility of falling to the Patriots. And I know we have a bad track record of drafting wide receivers. I would love to just turn it around and pick this
Chase, the other dude from LSU? I forget his name. His last name's
not
Chase.
Sure.
But yeah, there's a couple decent wide receivers out there that I like. Any one of them, I would like Smith overall because that dude, he can ball.
But Devontae Smith definitely deserved this Heisman this year. It was great to see. Great to see. Like, and that's a dude that I'm worried about in the championship game here. But we'll see what happens. It's crazy that he won this trophy, and it was before the performance that he had against Notre Dame, even because the voting apparently had to be turned in the 24th of December, and then he went out and balled again, and put up another dominant.
And it's looking like, and I mean, Trevor Lawrence gonna go to the NFL without a Heisman. It looks like.
Hey, it is what it is. He got a national championship. Sorry, Trevor. You'd be fine in Jacksonville. At least you ain't going to New York.
Now, we do have the bias bubbles we're going to cover, but I do have a surprise for you.
What?
When it comes to our bias bubbles, they did release the opponents for everybody's teams in 2021, and I do have the Eagles and the Patriots opponents for next season.
Let's go over this.
So I mean, we'll go over the Pats here first. Your home opponents this year are the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets, and then you got the Cleveland Browns, you got the Tennessee Titans, you got the Jaguars, you got the New Orleans Saints, and then the big one, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I know Tom Brady coming to Foxborough for that shit.
Coming to Foxborough.
He's coming back, and I hope
they're such assholes for putting it in Foxborough. And imagine, what if the Buccaneers win a Super Bowl this year or go to the Super Bowl? Then you got Tom Brady, got another rig coming back into Foxborough. Your road opponents are of course, the Bills, Dolphins, Jets.
Yep.
And then you got the Chargers, the Colts, the Texans, the Panthers, and the Falcons. So I mean, your road games don't look that bad. As long as you get your team together.
Yeah, maybe 8-8 again.
But your home opponents are definitely a little bit more intimidating than your away opponents.
For sure. And if we get swept by Buffalo again, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we won't really go in depth with these because it's going to be a long off season. So I'm sure we're going to be revisiting these at some point, make predictions and everything.
Right.
And for the Eagles, our home games, the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Chiefs.
Jeez.
The Chargers, the 49ers, and then Cowboys, the football team, and the Giants.
Okay.
And then the away games are the Falcons, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Broncos, the Lions, and then Cowboys, football team, and Giants. So, I mean, other than the Bucks and the Saints and the Chiefs,
those are all competitive
games. And, I mean, we were last place in a division. We do get an easy schedule, I guess. So,
cool.
Hey, man, if we can get... If hopefully they can get some shit figured out, we might be able to get back on track this next season with a favorable schedule.
10 wins next week or next year.
Exactly. Hopefully. So
very interesting.
I just wanted to kind of run over those since I saw that they were released.
Right.
But that Buccaneers in Foxborough, that's the game to watch out for. I saw that and I was like, ooh, that's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a good one.
Tom Brady coming back. Let's see how that goes.
But yeah, man, we can go on with the bias bubbles though. Anything you want to talk about with your Lakers and Pats?
Pretty much just kind of what we were hitting on earlier. I want to just be like, thank you for Cam even trying to salvage the season. Came in, didn't have the greatest statistics ever. 2,000 yards, 2,400 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 11 or 10 interceptions, but he also had 12 rushing touchdowns, which tied a single season record for the Patriots. You know, he also had the longest rushing touchdown at like 46 yards, which was a franchise record. He came in, he left his mark, more or less, like on one season. I'm pretty sure the first game he broke that record for the longest touchdown. So like I'm super glad and appreciative that we even had the opportunity. Hopefully he comes back as at least a backup next year. Because it didn't look great, but it's just it's tough to say because he doesn't have any weapons. But you see what Deshaun Watson's doing with no weapons, so it is what it is.
Yeah,
we'll see which direction they go as far as quarterback.
That'd be a great backup to have, but I just don't see Cam wanting to take a backup role. You know,
he also said that it's too early to tell on that decision there, whether or not it's in New England or not, whether he wants to take a backup role. He said it's too early to tell. Got a lot of soul searching to do, more or less. You know.
Yeah.
Quarterback situation is in a bad spot. But hey, we had 20 years of luxury, so we'll survive. We'll be fine. We'll figure out a quarterback. We'll move forward. Whether or not it's a couple bad years, it might be a couple bad years. Figure it out. We'll figure it out. As far as the Lakers go, we were talking about it, off to a hot start. It's been going pretty good. LeBron did twist his ankle a couple games ago, but he seems to be fine.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he twisted it and ended up coming back. And playing in the next couple games, he's fine because he's just one big muscle. So as long as he stays healthy, Anthony Davis had a 30-point game the other day. Everything seems to be going great. The only thing that could stop them would be injuries or Stephen Curry dropping 62 points on us or some shit like that, you know. But it's looking pretty good as far as the Lakers go. It's interesting to see Rondo on the Hawks. Apparently he's going to be missing 3 weeks now. He's already got an injury. So it's kind of like, okay, well, at least he's not here anymore, you know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Things are going nice. As far as the Lakers, we're just unfortunately not going to have too much news on the Patriots here going forward, other than minor things. But I'm going to be talking about the Lakers as long as everything's going good. I mean, even if things aren't going good, but going forward here, we'll have a lot more news on the Lakers. Not too much to talk about right now. Business as usual. Just like I said, beat the Memphis Grizzlies tonight.
Camera popped off. That was weird. But yeah, nice, man. I know you're definitely looking forward to seeing what the Lakers are going to be able to do. I mean, I think we both had them going to the finals anyway.
Yeah.
The Nets, on the other hand, we're gonna have to see where they're at because I mean things are kind of looking shaky, but it is early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else, Vern?
That's pretty much it. As far as I do want to talk about the Buckeyes a little bit. We were saying, it's a real sketchy. We don't know what's going on with the COVID situation because they're real hush hush about it. Are they going to postpone the game? Are they not going to postpone the game? Who knows what's going to happen? I know there's going to be more news coming out as we go along here. But even without all of that extra background noise, it was another going into this game with kind of low expectations because of the opponent seems like, at least on paper, that much better. I feel like that game against Clemson was nice, like big, just like sucker punch to Dabo Swinney for talking all that shit, talking about all the left. Like I worry about them putting everything they had into that game and like what's left for Alabama now. Like they were talking about, we had position coaches doing angels in the confetti, you know, and they're talking about Alabama's position. They're just like, they won this game. They're like, cool. Next.
On to the next one.
Like, this was nothing to them. This was business
Alabama,
as usual.
I feel, are just like the Patriots. Like how their dynasty was like, on to the next game. That's it. Like, we're moving on.
The AFC Championship. Super Bowl. You know, business as usual. So we'll see what happens. Mac Jones is playing a great season. They obviously have the Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver, and they also have other great players on that team. So I just hope Justin Fields is healthy enough to play a full game.
Yeah,
See how it
same
goes.
here. Because I mean, we were worried about his health going into the game before the rumors about the COVID shit happening. So I mean, we were just hoping he was healthy enough to play before the COVID stuff.
Right.
So I mean, that's definitely interesting. I'm excited to watch that game.
Me too.
Now, as far as my stuff, the Bulls, I mean, they're as of right now, I think they're still losing to the. I mean, the game just started to the Trailblazers, but I mean, when they won 3 straight, they beat the Mavs, but the Mavs didn't have Luka. I think he was out. They wanted to rest him because I guess he was having ankle soreness or something.
Might as well.
But hey, a win's a win. So we'll take it. The Bulls, they look all right. I mean, the bench is playing really well, so that's a good thing. It's just a matter of getting like some of these young Bulls acclimated and getting up to speed and getting getting that connection built to go like the whole season. I mean, in the Flyers here, they play next Friday, I believe. That's the first game of the season, kick off the NHL season, which I'm excited for, man.
Kicking off NHL.
NHL. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. And the Eagles. These damn Eagles. It's like it seems like every week there's something new to talk about. And it's not even anything new. It's just a new development on what we've already been talking about. But before we get into this, some crazy shit I have here. Half the head coaches in the NFL postseason were former Eagles coaches. And I do have the list here. John Harbaugh, who was here from 98 to 2007. Sean McDermott was 99 to 2010. Matt Nagy was there 2011 to 2012. Sean Payton, 97 to 98. Frank Reich was 2016 and 17. Andy Reid, of course, 99, 2012. And then Ron Rivera was 99 to 2003.
Damn.
So like half of the coaches in the playoffs right now were Eagles coaches at one point, which is crazy. Like how? But yeah, there is some news that broke today, which actually has sources. There was a bullshit that report that came out Sunday, which it seems like every game day for the Eagles, there's some report that comes out that morning, and it was a report saying, "Oh, the relationship between Wentz and the Eagles organization are fractured beyond repair. He's demanding a trade," which no other, like, Schefter didn't report that when it came out. It was just one person, and then everybody else rolled with the story, and there was no sources, there's no facts. It was pretty much an opinion piece, like how the Schefter one got misconstrued a couple weeks ago, where he was like, "Listen, that was my opinion. Like, it wasn't fact. Like you guys misconstrued it." The report that came out today that actually has a source within the Eagles organization. Apparently Wentz, he didn't want to talk to reporters. He's respectfully declined during the locker clean out yesterday. Apparently he had told an inside source that he's going to be taking some time during the offseason, needs some time away from the team to think about some things. And he's hoping that they can mend the relationship, and he doesn't want to leave Philly. That's the general consensus. He hasn't discussed with his future with team officials yet. He's trying to keep it a private matter between him and the team. And it's going to be for the right place at the right time. And there's hope in the relationship with the team that it won't end a divorce and that he doesn't get traded or he doesn't leave. He wants to make things work within the organization, which I hope it does, man. I don't want to see Carson leave, to be honest. I would like to see him come back. Hopefully they can build around him. Hopefully they can do something. I mean, if not, it's not meant to be. Right. I would say at least give it one more year, man. I think it's a foolish thing to do to have a QB that had one bad season and just trade him away. Like, that's ridiculous, man.
It's such a just a quick overreaction, it seems like.
It really is, man. And I think it's mostly hyped up because of the media and the fan base and shit. And because Jalen Hurts is there. You drafted a QB. Like, I feel like this wouldn't really be a conversation if it was just Nate Sudfeld behind Wentz. Yeah. You know, they would just be like, all right, how are they going to fix Wentz going in the offseason? And now it's like, oh, who are they going to pick? Such and such and such.
It's like
but
if you listen to the media, it's like they already gave up on him.
Yeah, exactly. When that's not the case at all. I mean, there was that Collinsworth report that he talked to Peterson. I talked about last week, where Peterson said that they're gonna work with Wentz this offseason to try to get everything. They're trying to build the team and fix it. They're trying to fix everything with Wentz. And I mean, that seems within the general consensus of like Philly media and some sources that are coming out of the locker room. It seems like that's what they're trying to do. I mean, Howie and Doug had the press conference the other day, and they said that they're fully committed to Wentz and that trading him isn't even on the table. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth. They could be lying.
See.
It could, yeah, exactly. They could be lying. It's just they're executive. It's business. If you're telling me a team comes to them like, hey, we'll give you a first rounder and something else for him,
okay,
I'm not gonna be surprised that Howie would take that deal. Even though I do think it's premature. I think they should at least have a QB competition going into the offseason. But, I mean, on top of that, they're paying the dude 30-something mil. I think he deserves the starting spot. At least give him another year to work it out, you know. If he sucks next year,
the opportunity to earn it.
Exactly. But, I mean, if he sucks next year, then go ahead. If everything's not working out, if him and Doug really don't get along, whatever, that's fine. But I think it's definitely a little, I think it's a little premature.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And with us being so, like, it's such a bad cap situation, it doesn't make financial sense to let him go and eat that cap, you know?
It really doesn't, especially after COVID.
Yeah. And I mean, well, you know what he can do. It's Carson Wentz, man. We've all seen him do some crazy shit. I know he's more than capable of doing it. It's just getting him in the right mindset.
Getting him back.
Getting them back, man. I don't know what they got to do, but hopefully they do it. And I mean, other than the Wentz situation and Hurts, I mean, I talked about Zach Ertz a little bit. He might be going. Kelsey might be retiring. Deshaun and Alshon are probably gone. Hopefully they're both gone. We need to, I mean, Howie said it in the press conference that, like, they talked about going into the season that they wanted to get younger, and they didn't do that. And they're going to be fully committed into fixing these things. So hopefully they actually mean it this time. So, I mean, there's no reason Jason Peters needs to be here next year, or Deshaun or Alshon, or a lot of these dudes that are just wasting roster space.
It's time to get younger.
Exactly. Because I think I did see a report that the reason they did keep some of the veterans, a lot of older players, was because due to COVID, they wanted to kind of, since there was like no OTAs or anything, it was like shortened training camp, they wanted to have a lot of experience in-house. Because they thought all these other teams are having new coaching staffs and younger players, they're going to be off their game. We have the same coaching staff. We'll be able to roll with the players we have. Well, that didn't work out.
Nothing happened.
Yeah. And I mean, since the last podcast we've had, the other big news that was announced is Jim Schwartz is not coming back this coming year. He says that he is going to take a year off to reflect, possibly retire. He's not sure if he wants to do it anymore. I think this is a way of saving face. I think the Eagles told him, like, listen, we're probably going to let you go this offseason. They gave him a choice, like, hey, like, I'm not going to get fired. I'm going to retire.
Or we can push.
Yeah, exactly. I think he took the right route instead of like, oh, Eagles let Jim Schwartz go, they fire him. They let him go gracefully. So, I mean, I was pretty much on the fence with Jim Schwartz anyway. I think I'm glad that he's going, but I'm very iffy on who they're going to bring in. Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
His defense pissed me off most of the time whenever they're playing 10 yards off the receiver and man coverage all the time. He's not a big fan of blitzing. So hopefully we can bring a dude in here that can, like, actually run some different schemes and bring some freshness to the Philly defense that really needs it after the past couple of years, where every year it seems like, oh yeah, the Eagles secondary is just garbage. We're just gonna walk all over them, and it was amplified this year because the offense was bad. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's not gonna be a lot to talk about from Philly over the coming weeks, other than just bullshit reports that come out, like rumors and bullshit, like, oh, Carson this, Hurts this, like Doug Peterson this. Like, I don't know. It's some bullshit. But it is what it is, man. I'm cautiously optimistic for the offseason. A lot of changes are going to be made. I think we talked about retooling versus rebuilding. I think we might be out of the retooling stage, and I think we might be rebuilding at this point. I think we're actually in full rebuild this point.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully they build around Wentz this time. So, I don't know, man. But that's pretty much all I have. Pretty much I'll be talking about Bulls and Flyers going forth.
You got a crazy sports fact for us?
Oh, you know it. I got to pull it up here. You know there's one thing left to do. And that's a crazy sports fact. I'm down to my last one. I got to re-up on some crazy sports facts. I've been slacking here. And it is a football one. Brett Favre has the most consecutive starts in NFL history at 297.
Damn. I thought so. What was Eli at whenever Eli? Because Eli,
he was at
I remember, had
296, I think, or two. Like he was gonna break I think he might have been tied actually, because I think he was supposed to break the record or tie the record.
Oh my God,
Ben McAdoo fucked it up for Eli.
Oh, that's a crazy stat though. That's so many years in a row of starting.
297 starts. That's why, especially for a QB.
Right. That position of anything.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Speaking of Eli, something funny I saw after the game Sunday night, Eli had to put his 2 cents in about the Giants, and he's like, this is why we don't like Philadelphia. And then Fletcher Cox commented on it, and he's like, yeah, we don't like you either.
I love that meme of Doug Peterson in the black and white.
He's like, yeah, fuck the Giants.
I love that. He's just looking.
I've been seeing him, bro, and I saw the one of like the dude standing in front of the grave with the peace sign. It was Doug Peterson, and it was like the Giants season, and he's sitting there like, like peace.
You gotta send that to me if you see it again.
I'll have to find it. Yeah. Oh, but yeah, that's pretty much the podcast for this week. We had a lot of news happen. You know,
we're talking after wild card matchups, like divisional round matchups next week. Man,
heavy playoff talk. So pretty much it seems like, I think as we go through the playoffs, we'll be kind of looking a little bit more in depth with the games now that it's kind of like narrowed down.
We'll have more time.
Yeah, right. We'll have more time. We're not talking about how many games each week. I mean, we'll be able to kind of break down.
We got 6 next week.
We'll be able to kind of go in depth and break down the games a little bit more.
After that, even actually, what do we got? We got 6 games next week. Yeah. After that, we'll have four games, right? So, and then even less. So we'll have a lot more time to go a lot more in depth with all.
And then we'll have a week in between of like the big game. You know, the Super Bowl. You have the week in between.
Do something special for that.
Yeah, we'll have to do something, maybe like a recap of the season or like our favorite moments of the season or something like that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, it was a pretty big week this week. Glad we got it all covered here. Make sure to like and subscribe as always. Check us out every Thursday, and check out Squad Pod Sports on Twitter. Check out Squad Pod Podcast on Fridays and Squad Nights on Monday nights. Yeah, man. I mean,
all over the place.
We're all over the place.
You'll find us.
You'll find us.
You'll find us.
And we've also been kind of talking about putting some like little smaller videos out in between as news breaks and stuff. So hopefully now that like football season's kind of narrowing down, we can kind of do that here, especially with basketball season where it's constant, you know, each day.
Might change the schedule up a little bit. We'll figure something out here. Yeah. That's not a bad idea, especially with basketball rolling here. So we'll see what happens here. But thanks for watching.
Yeah,
everybody. Happy New Year.
Peace. Definitely. See you next week.